So good evening. My name is Jeff Haney, collection manager for the Marshall M. Frederick Sculpture Museum. And welcome to our second talk in the Hip Hop Icons Film Speaker Series. This series is part of our programming for the exhibition Hip Hop Icons at the Marshall Frederick Sculpture Museum. You can view the exhibition at marshallfredericks.org and click on the logo for Hip Hop Icons. And these are just a few of the over 160 things that you will see in that exhibition. I want to thank you to our sponsors, Michigan Humanities, Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs, and the SVSU Foundation. And a special thanks to Dr. Khalid El-Hakim, who is the curator of the Hip Hop Icons exhibition. Again, you can view that at marshallfredericks.org and click on the link at the bottom of the page. Hip Hop Icons Film Speaker Series is sponsored by the SVSU Office of Multicultural Affairs in the Saginaw African Cultural Festival and the SVSU Foundation. Be sure to join us next Friday, February 19th, for a film discussion about 1984 film Do the Right Thing with Dr. Khalid El-Hakim and Professor Griff from Public Enemy. That's going to be a great evening. And we'll be sending out, I want to let everybody know, we're going to be sending out a short survey to those in attendance tonight. Please take a moment and fill it out. Your comments help us to continue our free programming and exhibitions at the museum, and we really value your feedback. When you register tonight, when you signed up, you didn't know it, but you're in a drawing for a hip hop speaker film series poster that is signed by Professor Griff of Public Enemy and Umar bin Hassan from Last Poets, as well as the exhibition curator, Dr. Khalid El-Hakim. And it's really, really cool. It's about a, 11 by 17 poster? Yeah, really nice. Again, I want to remind everybody, check out our calendar of events. It's on marshallfredericks.org for a complete list of the upcoming exhibitions and programs and events. And we have a few more programs coming up based on this. We have 2 more in the film series, and we have Saturday, February 27th at noon, we have this free virtual hip hop painting class with DJ Butter. I saw this guy's paintings when Dr. El-Hakim brought in this exhibition to us. I'm like, we got to get this guy, man. This guy is an amazing painter. So he is going to be doing a live class on February 27th. So you'll want to join up for that, and you can register for that on our website as well. And tonight we have Miz Korona and Supa Emcee. Let me go over a little bit of bio information that I have from them. Supa Emcee was born and raised in Highland Park, Michigan, is a member of the Almighty Dreadnoughts, and signed a proof of D12's label Iron Fist Records. In addition to being known for his battle scene and open mics all over Detroit, he has opened up his own major label for acts such as Black Moon, Dead Prez, Snoop Dogg, Fredo Starr of the group Onyx, Ice Cube, KRS-One, Eminem, D12, Houdini, Rakim, and Yo-Yo. He has a principal role in Eminem's movie 8 Mile, and has toured overseas through England, Germany, Scotland, France, and Denmark with fellow artists Guilty Simpson and the legendary Fat Cat. Miz Korona, Detroit MC Miz Korona has opened up for hip hop icons such as Scarface, Run DMC, and freestyled along Eminem and Exhibit in the blockbuster film 8 Mile, and is monumental on the rap scene in Detroit as well. Both of these guys are legends in the city of Detroit, and they are going to tell you a little bit about themselves. They're going to talk about the film 8 Mile. They're going to talk about the importance of the Detroit hip hop scene. And before we go any further, here's a couple little clips just to refresh you.
Man, I'm getting so sick and tired of fucking with this steel. They only give us 30 minutes to eat lunch and chill. My body aching just to get a buck. I'm sick of eating this shit off this fucking lunch truck. Nasty ass food. I'm in a nasty ass mood. I should have called in sick. Shit, I had something to do.
I can't believe that I'm hearing all this.
Supa Emcee, you got 30 seconds. DJ, you know what to do. Kick that shit.
Hey, yo. What up, Trailer Trash? Hey, yo, Future, how you get Whitey to battle the Savior? Yo, that's like Darth Vader battling O.B. Taylor. You can't mess around with the horror. I grab the mic and I'ma murder you now, you'll die tomorrow. You can't kick with the lyrics I spit. I blow your head off and leave you dying in your blood, you bitch. You still a trick in a hole, and I'm a pro. I fucked your mama, she's a prostitute, bro. You thinking you like, but you ain't like. I'ma murder you in the day and then blast you in the night. I'm still ill, I'm still for real with Candy Rain. I got a gun on your boy and I'ma blow out his brain. You run with a bunch of whack faggots. I'll eat out your meat like I'm in your body, I'm a maggot. And yo, matter of fact, you get played. You ain't nothing but a white boy dying of fucking AIDS.
So our two speakers tonight, Miz Korona and Supa Emcee from the film from what, 2002, from 8 Mile, almost 20 years ago that movie came out. And I just want to remind everybody before we turn it over to our guests, we will be monitoring the chat tonight. So if you have any questions before we turn it over for questions a little bit later on, please feel free to put your questions in the chat box and we'll be happy to have these guys answer your questions for you. So without further delay, Supa Emcee and Miz Korona, take it away.
Hey,
Hey, what up, dog?
Korona, we'll let you go first. Ladies first.
Oh, you're gonna let me go? Oh, well, thank you, sir.
Come on, man.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you guys again for having us. Thank you to Khaled for having us and bringing us in on this. You know, everybody knows that 8 Mile had a deep impact on the hip hop community and battle rap in general. So to be a part of this film, you know, was an honor, and to be sitting here with you guys. I wish we could be in person, but you know, we're all trying to be safe and everything. So thank you for having us, and can't wait to hear the questions that are gonna come our way. And yeah. Am I supposed to say some stuff about myself? Or yeah, y'all said enough. You know, I'm shy.
Oh, don't be shy. No, this is bragging time.
Tell us all about yourself. Tell us about, you know, the film, what it was like. You know.
Well, it was amazing to do the film. It was cold, but it's always cold in Detroit, but it was amazing to do the film. It's something that I always aspired to do and dreamt of doing, you know, aside from being a hip hop artist. I just wanted to be an all around entertainer. So to get the opportunity to be in a film with one of the biggest artists of all time at that moment, it was just mind blowing. And then I had the opportunity to meet one of my favorite actresses at the time, which is Brittany Murphy. And, you know, unfortunately she passed away, but she was amazing. She was a ball of joy and hilarity. And then Taryn Manning was really cool. I shared a makeup trailer with those two. So they were really awesome and welcoming. And then I got a chance to let my mom come on the set. It was a closed set to everybody, but you know, growing up in hip hop and wanting to do art in general, you know, sometimes your parents, they don't necessarily see that vision. They don't see that dream. They want you to be a lawyer or doctor or something, you know, and we want to follow our dreams. So to be able to see the excitement of her, you know, watching me in action and following my dream and actually doing something, that was really dope. And working with him, he's pretty funny. I didn't really know how funny he was until, you know, but we'll talk about that later. But he's pretty funny. At first he was kind of standoffish, but I think he was like in focus mode. But he's pretty funny. And Exhibit is, I knew him for years, so you know, it was nothing to hang out with that guy and kick it with him. But yeah. Look at this guy, cool. Oh, I should have put shades on.
Oh man, I had to put the shades on because the lights be
Right.
messing with the eyes now. My name is Supa Emcee, Detroit hip hop artist. This movie was it was a bowl of fun, you know what I'm saying, to be able to be around the people that you came up with in the game and actually be in like a play, and then to see that this play turned into something extravagant and really big. And the fact that like me and Korona, we grew up around D12 and we grew up around all these artists, and these artists are our brothers, you know. So it's one thing to know somebody to have mega success, but it's another thing when your family or people that you call family reach this mega success, and then you're a part of it. To work on that set was like it was a job, because like we was out there for 14 hours on a set, in the scene when they had the shelter, because that's where I was at, in the shelter scene. We were there. It was hot. It was smoky. It was the resemblance of how Detroit battle rap scenes would be, and we was there. Obi was there. Proof was there. We was all in the crowd while these parts of the movie was being filmed, and just to see something like this go, and today we're celebrating and we're sitting with the Marshall Frederick Museum and we're talking about it, shows that it had a dent into pop culture, into the world. So that also lets us know that Detroit hip hop has not only penetrated the cities around us, it penetrated the world. Eminem is one of the top selling rap artists of all time. D12 was one of the dopest, top groups that, coming out of Detroit. And that paved the way for all of us to have our successes in the music business. This movie was very pivotal to battle rap and Detroit battle rap, because when you think about Detroit battle rap, like we came from freestyling off the top of the head. Our battles were more like, we didn't write our battle raps. Our battle raps came like, we saw you and we got on you. So that's why, like, when you see them and they're talking about each other in the way that they're talking about, they're gutting each other up as what they see. And that's how we did. We didn't sit back and sometimes plan for people. That's why, like, Miz Korona is also a battle champ as myself is. We didn't run around and we didn't say, okay, we're gonna battle this guy and wait. We would walk up in the club and stuff would pop off and we would end up battling somebody. So you had to be very quick with it.
Let me give them a fun fact before you keep going. That is actually how Supa Emcee and I met, because he heard about me freestyling at a venue, and he came up there and he challenged me, and then we did not like each other for a couple months, but that's my brother, 27 years.
Actually, I didn't. Well, when I came in there, I had a manager. His name was Mustafa, and he told me they was having battles up at the Wire Frog, and Miz Korona was there at the time battling. And when I came in there, like how we ended up like getting into the little spat was, they were still battling. She was still cooking somebody. I didn't know if they were done. The DJ was like, "Hey, go ahead and grab the mic." So when I grabbed the mic, they wasn't finished battling. They were still conducting the battle. So me and Korona kind of had a little spat. And then after that, we became real close because, we saw that situation was just a misunderstanding. But that's my sister. But that's how it is in Detroit. Like a lot of people came from that situation, battling and stuff like that. And that just strengthened people's friendships, that made friendships, that broke up friendships. It sharpened steel, because that made us all better artists. The competitiveness, because you had to be sharp. You know what I'm saying? Eminem was a white artist surrounded by a bunch of black artists. He had to be sharp. He had to be cold. If he wasn't cold and sharp, he wouldn't have got respect from a lot of us at all. So he had to be cold. You know what I'm saying? Just like everybody else. When you dealing with when you in any type of art form or any type of business, this reaching to be somewhere, it's always going to be competitive. And the competitors are only going to respect great competitors. It's just what it is. Great writers respect other great writers. Great football players, respect great football players. Great boxers respect great boxers. That's how it is.
I mean, those great memories, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. He snatched the mic out my hand, but I think he appreciated the fact that as a woman, I did not back down, because at that time, Supa Emcee was one of the top battle rappers in the city. And I refused to back down. So he snatched the mic out my hand, he started rapping. I snatched the mic back out of his hand and started rapping. And it went back and forth a couple times, but like
actually Corona, you had a mic. I had grabbed the other mic from the DJ.
Oh, and I snatched the mic out.
You had a mic in your hand. Listen, you were rapping, and he was like, they done. So I grabbed the other mic and started rapping, but they still was going on. So when that happened, she was like, hey, hey. And we got, we started getting it. We started going at it. But and what's so funny is me and Corona we did a song after that called Cannibal Rap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my girl. That's how stuff happens. It's competitive. And that movie showed you the competitiveness in a street form as well as in the artist form, because he was dealing with stuff outside of the music that prompt him to be a competitor inside of the music. So things in your life prompt you to be more of a competitor in the artistry or the business that you do. You take the fuel from your real life and you put it into your business or your art, and that sometimes pushes your art to that pinnacle.
You're great at this, man.
Huh?
So you great at this. Yeah.
No.
I want you to tell my story
Miz Korona. Miss Pimpette started off East Side rapper, one of the dopest female artists to ever come out of Detroit.
Never mind, don't tell my story. If you're gonna use that name, don't tell my story.
No, we gotta go there. Come on.
Keep going.
So I'm gonna tell you one thing about that stood out to me was, remember when they had the two different auditions? So they had two separate audition processes, right? When they announced it on the news at one point that one of the biggest rappers in the music industry was going to be shooting a film in Detroit. And they said that they're looking for extras at this venue called the Wired Frog. And that's the venue that Supa Emcee and I first met. And so I was intending on going to the Wired Frog. Mind you, I had missed 3 auditions before because the casting director gave me his card, and I had other engagements and shows out of state. So I missed the 3 auditions, and then I'm planning to go to the Wired Frog, but I got a call from a close friend of ours who passed. His name is Cobb. And that morning, as I'm getting dressed to go to the Wired Frog, he says, meet them at the Omni Hotel. And I'm like, well, what's happening at the Omni Hotel? And so I was like, I'm going to the Wired Frog. I need to be in this movie with Eminem. And he's like, no, this audition, like they're looking for you. This audition is for speaking parts. So I get there, I see hundreds of people. And I'm like, well, if all these people are here for a speaking part, then who's at the Wired Frog? But they had some of the most elite artists at this Omni Hotel audition. And then when I did the audition, I remember rapping a song that I had, and the casting director was backing up with the camera the entire time that I'm rapping. So I thought that I was scaring the bejesus out of this woman with the lyrics that I was saying. And we had to hold that a secret that we got the part for months. Like once you got the part, they told you don't reveal any information. So imagine running into your friends who you saw at this audition and they're asking you, so did you get a call back? And then you're like, I'm not really good at lying. So I just like, you know what I'm saying? Like waiting. I think people kind of knew something, but they didn't know the extent of having the role that I had. So, it's so many great memories, but I did not I did not get the opportunity to be in the same setting, like the St. Andrews and shelter setting, as a lot of the other artists. When they would tell me about these battle rap scenes, and M did this, and he went up against Supa Emcee, and Marv went, and I was jealous, because I was like, I'm like sitting in a dang on trailer by myself, and I'm like cast away from everybody, and they're in a totally different area. And for a moment I was jealous, and then I had to snap out of that. Like, you know what? Don't be like that, because you are still a part of this film. But I wanted to be around those scenes that I like, that era that I knew. I wanted to be you know.
But you was in the movie though.
I know, but you understand.
They didn't put our scenes in the movie.
But we didn't. I didn't know who scene was gonna be in what. I didn't know if I was gonna end up on the cutting room floor. I didn't know. I just wanted to be a part of that whole.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
that thing. Yeah, that was where it
because
was
that's
going
what we
down.
knew. That's what we knew. I was like, man, I wish I was there. You know,
We got to see it. We got to see all those battle scenes, because you know the crowd in that shelter scene, and it was like a recreation of St. Andrews, like the shelter in the basement. And it was like we had to be extremely hype, you know, all those, for everybody, every artist that you see came before and did their battle scenes. We had to be extremely hype for all of those. So it was like, you know, the energy was so pumped in there. Everybody was just pumped the whole time, and it was there for so many hours. It was hot, muggy, you know. And then how we ended up being in, you know, getting casted into the movie was we were all extras at first. Actually, I got a chance to read for Jimmy Rabbit's part. People don't know that. But we were in the scene getting hyped. So it was like during the downtime, it was like ciphers breaking out. Ciphers over here, ciphers in this corner. People was rapping in that corner. So the director was Curtis Hanson. Was it Hanson?
Yeah.
He started to see that. So he was like, you know, wait a minute, we got all these rap artists in here. Let's see, we're gonna do a contest to add some other artists into the movie, and these scenes are gonna actually go into the movies. What they said. So they came up with a like little competition. So we all got up there and we was running verses and stuff, and then they end up picking us. They end up picking me, Marv, The Fusion, and Wiz, and we were the 4 artists that they picked for the battle scene. You know, rightfully so. You know, we was doing, you know, me and Marv was crazy. The Fusion, crazy. Wiz, he was doing his thing. So, and Mekhi Phife is my guy too, because after the movie, I mean, I was hanging out in LA. I used to hang out in LA a lot. I used to do the Moesha and Parker show. I used to go there and be on the show sometime. Actually, a gang of times. So when I was after the movie, I was out there hanging with him. But we got to do those parts, and it was just like exhilarating. Everybody was like, yeah, okay, damn. So when it came down to it, they put us on the stage, and they made us go in the back to sign the contracts, you know, and everything. And they told us, they was like, that's why when he sings that song, you only get one shot. Da 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 da. That song is I'm telling you, that song is based on us. I'm telling you, getting those roles, because we only had one take.
Yeah.
That was it. It wasn't no do-overs, no nothing. Like even when some of the artists that were actually in the movie that he was battling, you know, they did takes. They had to, you know, do different takes and get the right one. We only had one take. So as soon as they got the camera rolling, you had to go. So when they called my name, I just got up there and, you know, did my thing. They called Marv's name, he got up there and did his thing. They called Wiz's name, he got up there and did his thing. Called the Fusion name, he got up there and did her thing. So it was, you know, and like the props from being in that movie. Come on, Korona. Today we're speaking on this movie, Joanna. Today, almost 20 years later, we're speaking on this movie, and there are people from around the world. Like I've traveled, she's traveled to other sides of the continent. I mean, other side of the planet. You know what I'm saying? And they was like, people's over there like, oh my God, Supa Emcee and 8 Mile. I saw it. It's like ridiculous.
Right.
And we've garnered fans from that. We've garnered people that support our music. and that lets you know that Detroit hip hop. I'm gonna keep saying it. That movie is a quintessential reflection of what Detroit hip hop was at that time, and for it to have a lasting effect on people outside of the U.S., outside of Detroit, and across the world is amazing. It's amazing. Things that we did, and I thank Eminem, Shady Records, and the directors, for including us and capturing his ideas and his emotions that allowed us to play a part in something that we all was involved in anyway.
Right.
It's amazing.
I mean, because even a couple years ago when they did the 15-year anniversary, like, them tapping into certain artists like myself to be a part of everything. And I'm just like, 15 years, so I can't even imagine. I mean, next year is going to be 20. So I'm wondering what's going to happen, because, normally people celebrate the 20-year or the 15-year anniversary. I mean, people came from all over the place to be a part of that red carpet event. It was insane.
I mean,
man, it's 20 years later, man.
I think like we were talking before, Eminem, the directors, and everybody that was a part of that movie, they could have shot that movie anywhere. They could have recreated those scenes. They could have recreated it in New York. They could have recreated it in LA. They could have recreated it, Korona said, in Vancouver.
Well, no, they wanted to shoot it in Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto, right. But I'm just saying the fact that they shot it in Detroit, it gave it the essence. It gave it that spirit. It gave it that real feel of Detroit hip hop. And you had actual people that came up in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had actual artists that were filmed in this movie that was around when M and Proof and D12 were doing their thing. And when these battles happen, like, I would say those battles wasn't actually the battles that happened, but they were remnants of the battles that happened.
Right.
So you got actual people that were in that room or part of these shots that was a part of this movie that gave that feeling, that reminisce of that, you know what I'm saying, into the movie. So to me, the ingredients that were put in the 8 Mile to make 8 Mile was pure Detroit.
Yeah, for sure. That's what gave it the authenticity. But, I always tell people that regardless of what folks say about they feel a way that he didn't sign more artists. But I'm like, man, a lot of people still eating off of that movie. You know what I mean? Like, he fought for that movie to be filmed here. And sometimes you can't save everybody. You can't sign everybody, but what he has done with just that alone, is huge.
I mean, a lot of artists, like some artists, they do what they do and then they leave, right? They do what they do and then they leave. And then some artists, you gotta go on an investigation to find out where these people actually came from. You know what I'm talking about, Megan? You know what I'm talking about, Joanna? You gotta do your research on where they came from. You don't hear them rep their town. You don't hear them say anything about their city. As you know it, there are artists from LA or there are artists from New York all of a sudden. My thing is I love the fact that Eminem kept it Detroit. I remember watching the one video where Eminem and Dre, was it Guilty Conscience video or something, when he burnt the house down and then he just bust out like, Detroit, what? Like that one phrase set Detroit on fire when he did that. It was like, Detroit, what? And it was just like,
People
okay.
had t-shirts that said Detroit, what?
Right, it's happening. Like, you got a chance to see, like, okay, we on the board now. I mean, we've been on the board as far as Motown and techno music, and now you're seeing us, majorly on the board with this hip hop music. I mean, also with Jay Dilla, also with Slum Village and that whole movement, because Dilla was producing a lot of beats for artists that people didn't even know about. You was like, a lot of people were dumbfounded to the fact that Jay Dilla was producing for like Tribe Called Quest and Erykah Badu and Common and all this stuff. But once you got to see all of that stuff come together, it just made it a great place to be from. Detroit. It made all the hip hop artists there radiate with their music and want us all to reach for something greater.
And that movie actually set the tone for other filmmakers to want to come and shoot. So, the Transformer movies and Assault on Precinct 13, a bunch of films were coming in, and that gave a lot of people the opportunity that did even being an extra, in 8 Mile, having that on their resume and being able to go audition for those films, it helped a lot of people out. So,
right.
Man, we a part of history, bro.
Yeah, we are. I mean,
in more ways than one.
And like you said, by him shooting that movie here, and more and more movies started to come here. That made the movie industry. That made the movie industry look at Detroit as a great landscape to shoot more movies.
Right.
That we had the structural integrity to have movies shot here, and it would reflect a great scenic place.
Mm-hmm.
Shouts out to Paul Rosenberg and Eminem, Shady Records, and everybody involved with that movie. It's a blockbuster.
It's indeed.
So what are you guys doing today? What's on your radar right now, and what do you got planned for the future?
Well, I released a project in April of last year called The Virus. I've been Miz Korona for over 20 years. And so a lot of people, I called myself retiring from music and was focusing on the visual side of things. I have a photography and videography company called Trigger Finger Visuals. So I was just, doing a lot of visual stuff because, just to be totally honest, being 100% independent as a recording artist was stressful. I've never had a record deal. A lot of people thought that once I got the opportunity to be in 8 Mile that I would get signed by somebody, whatever. That never happened. I've really funded my own career this entire time. And so the stress financially kind of took a toll on me. So I needed to step back from music, but, mysteriously got inspired because just based off of the name of that, of the virus before it became the actual pandemic and the severity of knowing what it was. So I created that project. And then I also have a clothing line, which is called Triple Peaks. I'm wearing it right now. So that's doing pretty good. And yeah, that's really it. I have a few projects that I'll be directing in the spring and summer. So that's really dope. But yeah, so I'm back into music too, but still putting the videography and the visual stuff first a little bit.
Yeah, I've released a couple projects before my accident. And I came out with a project with a Grammy producer, Baby Paul from the Beat Miners. We got a group together. It's called Crossroads. We put out a couple of projects. In the last couple of years, we released a 2-single project earlier this year, also an EP called The Roads Less Traveled. I'm down with Iconic Management, signed at Titan Records. I've also released a couple more projects all of this year. I do videography now, working on videos, so I'm able to shoot it, film it, and edit it as well. Just like Korona, I got Hero clothing out. People can get the clothing and stuff like that. Really now I just been healing up from a car accident. I was in a bad car accident in October. So these last months, man, I just been, just healing up from that. It's been a long road, to get back to now, so I'm just trying to get better, so I could come back out, with more music and get again what they've been missing. You know what I'm saying? So we got a lot of stuff bubbling. More music coming from Crossroads, more music coming from Iconic, more music coming from Titan Records, more music coming from me as well. So we deep off in the business and we keeping it going.
I ask you a question about you've done your fair share of rap battles. Who are some of your favorite people to battle? Who are some of the people you just like? Nah, no way. I don't want to do that.
Who was some of my favorite people to battle? Like
Favorite people to battle. I mean, that you just thought were just was a great person to battle.
Like when I talk about battle, I'm gonna talk about Detroit people. I mean, like it was, like to me, dope battlers was like, like Swan, Marv, Hostile. You know what I'm saying? Like them was like the dopest battlers coming from our way. Korona, myself, Hostile. I mean, in this day and age, I mean, I ain't been in, like no battles like that. I just been really on some artistry stuff. Like I haven't been battling really since like Proof passed, because that was like one thing that just like when he passed away, that just for me it took the love and everything out of it, but I ain't no joke to be, I'm nobody to be played with on that tip. But the new battlers just coming, it's out. I give it up to like X Factor, Young Miles, Quest McCody, you know what I'm saying? It's a gang of a new battle rappers just out right now. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So like everybody that's in the new wave and the current that's representing Detroit, like everybody is coming from Michigan to me is like dope. So Young Times, it's man, I could go on like it escapes me right now, excuse me. But it's the whole battle scene to me is great, it's wonderful. It transitioned to just coming off the head to artists sitting there plotting now, like they plot on you now, and it's sweet. Like they do knowledge on you. They sit and wait months and months and assassinate you. They on your Instagram, they on your Facebook page, they at you from all type of different angles. And it's a marvelous thing to see, artists evolve and become better and better with each year with this form of hip hop. But battle rap is already, like when I'm saying this form of hip hop, I mean battle rapping has always been a part of hip hop. That's how, Korona and myself, that's how we earned our stripes. You had to be like in this day and age, they try to separate battle rap from the culture and say that it's a sub part of the culture, but battle rapping and making records and being a dope MC and being able to freestyle is all the embodiment of being an MC. It's all a part of the all in all of hip hop culture. I mean, like it's a lot of artists right now that'll say they're the greatest artists, but they never battle nobody. And being a true hip hop artist, how could that be? How can you say you're the greatest artist and you never had a battle? How can you say you're one of the dopest rappers and you never really tested it? You know what I'm saying? That's like saying you can fly a plane and never got in a jet. So, when it comes to that, I am a big supporter of the battle rap culture. I love the battle rap culture. It made all of the real top choice MCs, real MCs like me, Proof, Korona, Marv, the Dreadnoughts where I'm from, Guilty, Fat Father, every artist that I can name or probably, excuse me, because I done banged my head on the windshield really hard, so a lot of stuff is escaping me. But
I'm gonna chime in because when I was doing the battle rapping, it was probably only two other women on the scene that was battle rapping, Abyss and Diffusion. And I never battled either of those because I think they stopped battling once, at that time. I only battled one female ever in the career of 5 years of battle rapping. And that was Monica Blair, who turned out to be a singer. She said
You battled Monica Blair?
I battled Monica Blair at the for the what's the name? The battle that was on Telegraph when we was inside the cage.
Oh man, dude.
Yeah, I battled Monica Blair. You don't remember that?
Oh man, I remember when you said that. I remember. Korona, come on! I just got out of. I got a little.
I know, but I battled Monica Blair, and that was the only female I ever battled. But I don't have a particular favorite person that I battled. They were all heads on my mantle. And I was aiming to take them off because one thing, they did not respect women battle rappers at the time. So I had so much to prove. And I remember Proof telling me to never give people the opportunity to second guess me because they would be like, oh, she's dope for a female. So I always went into that arena and on that stage, and I said, I can't slack. I gotta just take the head. That's what we call when you win a battle, you taking the head off. So I had to take their heads off.
That's what it was. I mean, but Korona, you was dope. You was dope for being a MC. Period. I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
like I said, like, oh, she dope for a girl. She alright for a girl, and I had to. No, they had to eliminate that. No, she's a dope MC.
Yeah.
Period.
I mean, coming from where we came from, at one point in time, it was like you had to battle. If you didn't battle, it was like you couldn't claim yourself to be dope if you didn't cut. Like I got a bunch of heads. I was going through. I was cutting I was some of everybody. I was, man.
Didn't matter.
It didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? You wanted to jump in, we was cutting. But, that's, like I said, that's what makes Detroit artists great, because we had so much to prove. And it was like the world wasn't allowing us to do that. The world wasn't listening to us at one point in time, or they were passing over us, because you had hip hop in the East Coast where it started, where it came from. Then you had hip hop jumped over us, and it was in the West Coast, right? And then you had hip hop go down south, you know what I'm saying? And then for teeny bit, it came to Detroit, and we put it in a chokehold, and we held on to it. And then, but now, like you said, we got premier artists, we got top artists in the game. We got the, the Cash Dolls, we got the Big Seans. You know what I'm saying? We got, you know what I'm saying? We got like you name it, for whatever genre, whatever lane, Detroit got it. I mean, we been the music mecca. We Motown with hip hop. You feel me? So it's like having the best of something.
Remember back in the day when labels used to say that they wouldn't sign a lot of artists because we didn't have a signature sound, but they didn't tap into the signature sound. Now is what is considered the Sada Babies or T Grizzly street sound, and everybody around the world is trying to sound like that.
But Korona, that was just the fake industry talk, because they didn't know how to market Detroit at the time. It's like I think like like some people could see something and they'd be like, okay, we can market that, right? But then when they would come to Detroit and they would see, because like Detroit is so multi, right? You got hip hop in all kind of ways here in Detroit. It's not just one sounding way.
Right.
So it's like you might come here and you might be like, well, I want to hear some hip hop. And then you might run into some straight up street rap that's like ridiculous. And you be like, well, wait a minute, I thought I was coming here for that. And then next time you get another person say, well, I want to hear some street rap. And then they run into some hip hop artists. They're like, well, I was coming here, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like Detroit is so multifaceted when it comes to the music. You know, we got so many, it's like we got so many lanes and so many directions. Assaulting a person's ear with hip hop music is ridiculous. And, you know, you kind of get that when you got an artist such as Eminem, such as D12, such as Fat Cat, such as, you know, Guilty Simpson, such as a Black Milk, such as a Boss, and you such as a Cast Out, such as, you know, a Big Sean, such as a Sada Baby, or any of these artists that you can name that has penetrated into the mainstream. You would think that a lot of these artists are from different places around the states, but they're all Detroit artists. Yeah. And you like, how could that be? That's because of the way that the music is here. Our music is like, we, you know what I'm saying? We got R&B, we got techno, we got, you know what I'm saying? It's just so many different lanes in one pot. It makes up Detroit hip hop.
Even the techno, it's like, how many types of techno are there? And
yeah, because you're gonna see all of it at different stages.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what? Now that Megan said that, it should have been actually a part. They should have put somebody jitting in 8 Mile. They should have had somebody jitting in 8 Mile. They should have had, you know, like a scene where they was jitting and some little techno music came on and everybody had a jit.
Wasn't Richie Houghton a Plastic Man? He was from Detroit, right? I'm pretty sure, yeah. And that 808 State, those were the two big ones that I saw.
So I have a I don't know, kind of random 8 Mile question. So Marshall Fredericks, we have this joke that we can make these connections, right? Mm-hmm. He taught at Cranbrook at the art school. And of course, there's this reference to Papa Doc Clarence, you know, being from Cranbrook. And I don't know the answer to this. Was that a real, you know, MC on the scene that was from Cranbrook that was a competitor in the day that y'all know, or was that something that Eminem kind of, you know, fabricated from just, you know, being from Detroit area?
I mean, if you probably did the research and the knowledge and the background on some artists in Detroit, you might find that it was an artist that probably went to Cranbrook.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because Cranbrook is in Michigan, you know what I'm saying? And some artists, you know, people would downplay their intelligence to be street sometimes. So, you know, some artists somebody probably went to Cranbrook and was, you know, in the hip hop shop, or probably was in the streets rapping and battling, but probably would never admit to it because of the way that it was looked upon. Because, you know, you had to have, you know, street credit, you know what I'm saying, to be able to say the things that you said. That was one thing that made an artist. You know how like let's just say if somebody was telling you about geometry, right? Megan, they were talking about geometry, but they wasn't a geometry teacher, or they wasn't a student in geometry, and they really didn't know anything about geometry. So you would be like, how can you tell me about that?
Right.
So that's the same way with
there's no faking it when you're battling. There's no faking
it. Faking it. Why when somebody's telling you, you know, some gang or some gangster.
But think about this, Sue. That was the beginning of when people started to do research on their opponent.
Exactly. 8 Mile made them
8
do
Mile
it.
started that because we, like Sue said at the beginning, we used to freestyle. So you never knew. 9 times out of 10 when you did these battles, they would either pull a name out of a hat, or they had like a card with these names on it. And so you didn't know who you were going up against. I know.
No.
Going back to a question that was asked earlier, I think Jeff said, who was I afraid of? to battle. I never wanted to battle Swan. But I was ready to battle Swan at any moment. I was like, okay, if I ever have to battle him, I'm gonna have to really go hard, because he was so quick and witty on his feet with freestyling. But that was the beginning when he got that information about Clarence going to, he said, okay. So I think that's when people started using that. Well, you'll know who you're battling and prepare. I don't have time to be prepared.
Because it was, to me, it was like like Korona said, we were freestyling off the top. So if you didn't have a creative intellect or a creative mind, or able to just dive off, or able to like really look somebody up and down and tell their whole life, when you look at them, you was probably going to lose the battle, because, or you wasn't able to just look at them and what they had on and destroy them. That's, to me, that's creative, to be able to look in somebody's eyes and be able to tell their life story once you see them. But see, now, everything is digital, everything is up and before your eyes. So people will sit back and go through your life story and then pick apart everything about you and come back and kill you with it. But we were artists. We were artists that we just walked up to you and saw you, ate you. It was just that. It was just that.
Guys, we have a lot of people like chiming in for questions. So let's, if anybody in this room, I know, Joanna, you have some that came off of Facebook, but do you have one on Facebook that you're ready for? And anybody else that's in the chat, if you want to unmute yourself in a second and ask it in the chat, and we'd be happy to relay it. So go ahead, Joanna.
Okay. This is from Roxanne from Facebook Live. She says, what advice do you have for young entrepreneurs, high school age 14 to 18-year-olds, who are writing and promoting their own music, starting their own small businesses, clothing lines, makeup lines, etc.? I am a high school teacher in Saginaw and am seeing some of my students really tap into their creativity during this pandemic. I even have a student who is an aspiring filmmaker. So any advice?
I would tell them to be unapologetically creative. Don't ever stop doing what they're doing. And just because they don't think somebody is watching, everybody's watching and everybody's seeing what they're doing. And to just keep pushing, keep being creative, keep pushing their product, keep thinking outside of the box. Sometimes think inside of the box. I would tell them to just be more assertive, and as much as you can, keep your confidence level through the roof.
Yeah, and don't ever give up. You know what I mean? Some people don't listen to the naysayers, because some people, who haven't had the gall or the guts to follow their dreams, they'll try to deter you. So, and then also make sure that you have your business in order. Get your stuff trademarked, get your stuff patented. I'm in the process of getting our names trademarked. It takes some time. Do not get discouraged. This clothing line has been 10 years in the making. My career, I've been doing music long before, I got tapped to do 8 Miles. So just imagine if you were to just give up, how close you could be with all that time that you put in. But, just focus on your vision. Do your vision boards, write down your goals, try to attain those goals, try to exceed those goals the next year around. And then when you write those goals out, you'll see what you were able to accomplish. And then you go further the next time around.
Yes, make sure that they tell them to make sure that they start their business plan. Get their business plan together.
Get your LLC, do all that stuff.
Definitely.
Okay, anybody in the room want to unmute themselves and ask a question?
I'll go for one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this one's for Miz Korona. I like the new album, by the way.
Thank you.
How has being a lesbian and a woman affected how you approach your career and your craft, especially considering the sexism and the homophobia that I'm sure, are surrounded with? And then I also had a second part, which is how did you get back into writing after 4 years?
Okay, so to answer the first question, it's so many obstacles that I had to go through, just being a woman in general. And then in the younger years, just trying to be comfortable with my identity. So like, struggling with coming out because a lot of people said that it wouldn't be accepted in the industry. It's not really that accepted in the Black community. Still to this day, although things are a lot easier. I am a 42-year-old woman, so just imagine when I was much younger, how many people look down at you for just loving who you love. And so, going through those obstacles, I have a couple songs that talk about it. It was really difficult, but at the end of the day, I had to look myself in the mirror and just love myself completely enough to be able to be who I am 100% of the time and not be afraid of who's going to accept me and who's not. Anybody who doesn't accept who I am just doesn't need to be in my circle. If they don't, like my music just because of me having a girlfriend, whatever. So they don't need to listen to my music. And the second part of the question was, what was the second part of the question? Hold on, wait.
It was, how'd you get back into writing after 4 years?
Yeah. So getting back into writing after 4 years was actually me moving out of the way for myself. And it's so funny because somebody just posted a interview from Michael Jackson that was years ago, and he said something similar, but I had never seen that interview clip until today. And I don't know if you know many Virgo people, but we are perfectionists to a degree. And it made sense that he said that because he was a Virgo also. And so I just had to move out of my own way and let the creative juices flow. In the beginning, before I went into retirement, like I said, I didn't know that people would want to hear a 36-year-old female lesbian rapper. So, those fears, those things those obstacles that I placed on myself, but I just had to move out of my own way and just let the creative juices flow. It was just something that just came. Everything just flowed out so easily with the last project. It was scary, honestly.
Dope is dope, sis.
Well, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Yeah.
Any other questions from anybody that want to unmute themselves and ask a question? Go ahead. Or if you have something from Facebook, Joanna?
Just comments, especially if anyone has comments.
Yeah.
I think one did come in from Facebook. I won't read the whole thing, but asking the question about Detroit, in their opinion, having the crab in the barrel syndrome of stepping on, that the old story of stepping on the others around you so that you can get to the top. And is that a uniquely Detroit thing? Is it not your experience in Detroit? Is it old? Is that new?
I think it's just something that happens everywhere. But Detroiters, since we don't have a machine here, it seems to just happen. Like anybody who seems to be climbing upward and getting closer to the top of that bucket, somebody's trying to pull them down. Yeah, so I thought it's a very real thing. And it's, back in the day, we used to be very cliquish and separated. So just imagine different scenes, east side, west side, northwest, having all these crab in the barrel effects. So,
that's why we have formed the X family. That's why we have formed the X fam. We have formed the X fam. X fam was it was like we had different cliques. You had the Dreadnoughts, you had Fat Killers, you had Raw Collection, you had Korona, you had a bunch of other artists that were trying to do their thing, and we came together and we formed X fam with the Teamsters. God bless Cobb. Cobb ain't here right now, and Luco, but we brought a bunch of artists. We were like the premier artists. You were like those artists that were stumping away. D12 was a part of it. You know, we all came together to basically show that, you know, this crab in a bucket syndrome it couldn't exist. You know what I'm saying? With dope artists like that, because we all is out to help each other. We all for the common goal of Detroit hip hop going somewhere. So if we all cool and we all brothers and we all sisters and we all hang out together and we click together and we stuff like that. So if I got something going on, I call up Korona, say, Korona, hey, come get on this show with me. She got a show popping off. She called me, hey, why don't you come perform at the Sleepover Soup? And we got stuff popping off. And when you do stuff like that, it shows your fan base unity. That the artist in the community has unity, and it makes the fans get geek anyway. Because like you got fans that love Supa Emcee, you got fans that love Korona, so they get a song with me and Korona, they're gonna love it. You got the fans that love this particular artist and love this particular artist, and now you got songs with these artists together. Like before, it wasn't like that because of that, or because everybody had this preconceived notion that people didn't like them, or people, you know, didn't feel their music, or, you know, it was all this. But once we as artists started to really understand the movement and what the business was like, we started to be around each other more, and different friendships and bonds started to come out of us being at shows or us being at events. We started to see what we all meant to the city. And once that happened, then you started to see the come together of Detroit hip hop. It's still the crabs in the bucket, because you gonna have haters in the game. It is gonna be what it is. But for the most part, we had defiled that. We defiled that notion, and we brought Detroit together, and we did a lot of stuff.
I can actually I can sense that just from the both of you, and how you know, when you're talking, always giving credit to another. So I feel it. Another question coming in from Sam Tillman on Facebook, for both of you. Maybe Ms. Korona, you want to start? Is he's asking, with as quickly as the game changes, how do you maintain your creativity and stay relevant? Or is that something that you're not even thinking about?
It's something that I don't really think about that. I just try to be as authentic as I can possibly be, you know. So I'm honestly honored that I'm still as relevant, and even more relevant to this day than a lot of artists who had the opportunities to have record deals and have machines pushing them. And like I said, I've been 100% independent. So I'm really, I'll be shocked sometimes. I'm shocked a little bit, but when you're authentic in yourself and your artistry, that bleeds through, and people tap into that, because, you know, it's just something that, you know, people will gravitate to. You know what I mean? It's something that's relatable in there at some point to them. And so I appreciate the folks who are just now recognizing who I am, or maybe, you know, knew a little bit about me in the past. So, but I don't strive. I don't wake up and just be like, today I want to do a song that's going to make me relevant. I don't do that. I just write what's in my heart. And, you know, when the bug hits me, it hits me. And I just say,
like Korona said, nobody can be you but you, right? So when you're being you're still alive, right? So you were alive 10 years ago, right? And you're alive now, right? So you're still living and you're still growing. So to be relevant is your conversation. We would have had a different conversation 10 years ago if we was talking about this 10 years ago, right? But now we're 10 years in the future from that. So the conversation is a little bit different. So to me, to stay relevant is to stay you in the now. You know what I'm saying? It's to stay you in the now, and also to stay you in the past, and also to be you in the future. So it's like, to me, it's coexisting. Is you coexisting in 3 spots? You in the present, you in the past. You already been there. So now you're in the present, and then what you thinking to be in the future. So it's staying present, and it's also thinking ahead of the curve. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody can be you but you. And we all have some of the same thinking, but everybody doesn't have the same thoughts, right? So if you're able to look at something, and see where it's going, how would that conversation be? You would be able to tell somebody a little bit about the future before it happens, correct?
Awesome, thank you, Roberto. All you need to do is unmute yourself and to ask your question. A question from Roberto Garcia.
Thank you, Megan. Again, I was listening actually through one of my students. I was at my nephew's basketball game, but I was listening, watching basketball game and listening. I finally got home. First of all, I want to thank Megan. Thank you. Always got to give Megan props and her staff for allowing us to have this space to have these type of conversations at Saginaw Valley, Supa Emcee, and of course, just a wonderful hip hop icons exhibit, and Miz Korona for being here with us. I'm just very happy that we can have this space to share what hip hop has done to shape modern society and, of course, American society and culture. So my question is, born and raised in Saginaw, Buena Vista, I always represent where I'm from. So right there, some people from Detroit would definitely know what BV is and what it represents. But my question is this: so that I-75 corridor that we share, right, from Detroit to Flint to Saginaw, right? How do y'all think, like we have in 2 weeks from now, we have the Dayton family and MC Breed. We're going to feature them as part of this conversation. What do y'all think about the mitten, right? And our contributions to hip hop, because even last week when we had conversations, again, we know we always pay homage and respect to those that came in front of us. New York is where it's at, is why we're all here today. However, I believe that Michigan hip hop, the Michigan hip hop scene has given a lot to the community, right? What do y'all think about, and I'm going to include us as part of this conversation, Saginaw Valley, our relevance and our history, being that we will be featuring MC Breed and the Dayton family, which I grew up on. What do y'all think about just the I-75 corridor and what we represent in the hip hop community?
It's very important. I mean, you guys played a major part in this, because think about this. Breed and Dayton family had major deals before a lot of Detroit artists. You know what I mean? Like MC Breed was a household name.
He was on the joint with Pac.
Ain't no future in your front.
He was on the song with Tupac. You know, Tupac was one of his closest friends. You know what I mean? MC Breed's pen game was crazy. He wrote for a lot of people. And then, you know, the Dayton family, a lot of artists kind of mimicked them from the South. You know what I mean? So, you know, they had connections with 8Ball and MJG and a lot of artists. So they definitely paved the way for a lot of people. Now, and then their connection with like Detroit's Most Wanted and, you know, those individuals, that's the older generations that we looked up to. So it's like, hey, if they can do it, we can do it, especially being from a smaller town that's in Michigan, you know?
I mean, those artists basically gave us the hopes and the ideas and the wishes of being in the game. I mean, when you saw somebody like MC Breed, and you was like, yo, man, what? And then that ain't no future in your front and joint, just, you know, the production behind that, you know, the way he was flowing on that. And then, and you got to see him with like a mega major artist. Like he on the joint, I Gotta Get Mine with Tupac. It was just like, oh man, like we can do this. It just gave any artist, if you was from Michigan, it don't matter where you was from, Michigan, Flint, Detroit, you know, East Side, West Side, Oak Park, it didn't matter. Highland Park, it didn't matter. When you saw that gave you the charge. And that was kind of around the time where Boss was out too. Mm-hmm. That made you feel like it's coming. We can do this. These dreams of being hip hop icons and being in this game, we can do it. We can succeed in this. We can be the next LL Cool J's. We can be the next Rakims. We can have the next Salt and Peppers. come from here. We can have the next Run DMCs from here. You know what I'm saying? That next Eric B. and Rakim, because we were seeing it with the Dayton family. We were seeing it with Boss. We were seeing it with Breed. We were seeing it with Alley Life. We were seeing it with a lot of artists coming from the D. So all of those artists.
I'm glad you mentioned Boss because, you know, prior to Boss getting on and being one of the first females on Def Jam, like my inspiration, you know what I mean, was MC Light, Queen Latifah. So when Boss got on,
but then Smiley though, you gotta give it to Smiley.
Well, yeah, Smiley. Let me say, hold on now. It's no offense to Smiley, but Smiley was an independent artist. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about when a major label signed Boss and the label that we all look to a lot. Who didn't want to be signed to Def Jam? I'm like, what? She on? Oh man, I got a chance. Oh, it's over. I'm about to do this. You know, and I looked up to Smiley too. I mean, hey, my last name is Smiley, so everybody thought that I related to her. So, you know.
And, you know, I just got to say, you know, I grew up right here. And like I said, I'm going to represent Buena Vista all day, every day. I always say we're from the east side Saginaw. But I remember when Dayton Family came out, you know, I was in middle school, high schoolish. And people, you remember we used to get the lines in our head. And then people said, what's on my mind on the back of the head carved in there? What's on my mind? Come on now. And I just think it speaks to the culture. I also teach a hip hop class here at Saginaw Valley State University. One day I hope to invite y'all in to be guest speakers to my class, which is a phenomenal class because not only it is featured on Jay-Z as a primary artist, however, it's I'm going to tell y'all where hip hop has gone, right, as in academia. Yes, it's a writing class and we do focus as Jay-Z is a primary artist. However, we really investigate what hip hop has done to shape modern culture and modern American society, right? You can't watch the Super Bowl without seeing a hip hop artist or hip hop song being in the advertisement, right? And of course, we know it started really with Run DMC breaking down with my Adidas without even having a contract for that. No hip hop artist in their mind will ever promote a product without getting paid first, right? And so we know that history. And so, you know, I just want to tell y'all, like, I'm so happy again, Megan. Thank you for having this conversation in this space, because it's something that's definitely needed. I believe I'm a hip hop generation kid, but the influence, because I say all that to say this, right? I want to get y'all take, as I teach my class, I always tell the kids, when we grew up, so I'm going to assume we in the same age bracket, right? You had to be good to make it on TV and make it on the radio. They just put anyone out there. You know, my brother, you had your MTV Raps.
It was about
all you need social media presence, and you can put anything out there and they think you hot, right?
Hey, I
think about how society is now.
Touching on what you said, man, the game then, man, it was about skill, period.
Yes. Amen.
You had to be dope. You had to be verbally sound. You had to be lyrically authentic. You couldn't come with what the next man was talking about and call yourself original.
You couldn't talk about it if you ain't live it.
Right. And you couldn't be on certain stuff. But see, today it's like everybody, it's like today everybody can buy the McDonald's Happy Meal. You know what I'm saying? We all can go to the top and get the McDonald's Happy Meal and pull off. And that's what
because now it's about numbers. It's about the numbers on social media. How many followers you got?
Clickbait.
So
and about that.
But still, I like that because it's like it's one kid I remember when I was doing the last sleepover that I did a couple years ago. This was like when, you know, Instagram was really starting to bubble. He said, I got 15,000 followers on Instagram. This kid couldn't even bring 10 people to the show. And I was, you know what I mean? But I mean, but I don't get excited about the numbers. I just like, okay.
So one thing for me, I got to ask y'all this too, just by being, you know, hip hop aficionados like you are and part of the game. I have my own top 5, right? And these are all interchangeable for anybody that love hip hop. To me, I love storytellers, right? So Pac, Jay, Biggie, again, they're in their own tier, right? I think people really underestimate a person like Scarface and his ability to tell a story and that picture. and a person like Ice Cube that really do the same thing.
Wait a minute.
And I think they underestimate one other thing. I think they underestimate the what Oakland has done to change the game as well. Go ahead.
I don't think I'm gonna have to disagree with you, brother, on that. You was A1 all the day, but I don't think nobody downplays Scarface. And if they are, they're probably a younger generation artist.
They got it.
I don't think nobody.
Oh, they do. But I schooled them though. I helped them out to get in the game. You're right.
I don't think nobody downplays.
Let me put that caveat out that yes, the kids I deal with, which were born actually like 2000, 2001, right?
Yeah. See,
Scarface got a day. Scarface got a day.
The only people I could see that would downplay Ice Cube would be the youth because they know him for movies. See, Ice Cube went from one of the greatest rappers to one of the greatest movie stars too. He turned into a movie man. So a lot of the youth is like, oh, he was in this movie. He was in Friday. He was in, the movie with the kids and stuff. So they look at him more.
Where we at?
Yeah, right.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Yeah. They look at him more as an actor than a hip hop artist. We grew up on Ice Cube, the hip hop artist, Mr. NWA, Mr. The Lynch Mob,
Lethal Injection.
The Injection, yeah, we grew up on that Ice Cube. But in this game, you have to reinvent yourself to go different places. So to me, that's hip hop ascension. That's coming from being, a great mogul, a great artist, then turning into a mogul at the music, then becoming an actor, and then becoming a mogul and actor. You know what I'm saying?
So who's your top five? Who's in your top five storytellers?
My top five storytellers. I would say I would be like Slick Rick. I would say Ice Cube would definitely be in there. Oh man. Oh, I would even also throw LL in there too.
Ladies love Cool James, don't they?
I mean, I'm gonna say
he was raw because he hit you with that sensitive side and hit you with that hardcore OG side.
I'm gonna say, just hold on. Just speaking on LL Cool J. To me, LL Cool J is like, at one point in time, he was the quintessential all-around artist to me because he was like a real popular artist, you know what I'm saying, that everybody could relate to. He was a battle rapper, MC, that he was like one of those rappers to get on the track and go crazy. Then he was a marketable artist as well. The ladies love Cool James. You know what I'm saying? And then he also was an artist that transcended from the music to the sitcoms to the movies. You know what I'm saying? Like he was all around. Let me see. Oh man,
make it quick now.
Huh?
I said, make it quick now.
Come on, man.
She went on hers. You want short, Super.
He's giving you time, Miz Korona, to get yours in order here. So
y'all got me at a disadvantage, man. I told you, me and the windshield got real close, so I'm kind of.
Yeah.
Miz Korona, do you have a couple of who would be your top five? And then if anybody has a last final question, I know we're running kind of long, but
I said Scarface. I have to throw MC Light in there because MC Light was a great storyteller. Okay.
Yes, she is.
Andre 3000, Kendrick Lamar, and I know that you said Jay-Z in his own bracket, but I got to throw Jay in there.
Okay.
Biggie too.
Biggie, the icon. That's right. Biggie. I think those are, like you say, the epitome of a different echelon.
Nas, man.
Well, and see, yes. I think we have uncovered the overall story here, which is there's so many to name. If you walk through the Hip Hop Icons exhibition, either in person or virtually, it is just like memory lane left and right. Oh yeah, that. It's just nonstop. So yeah, we could go all night. But like Jeff said, we're running a little over time. Any final thoughts, Supa Emcee or Miz Korona, that you want to share with our audience tonight? We really appreciate you being here.
I just want to say that hip hop started from a house party, and it turned into a whole industry. It turned into a force that is able to reach all corners of the world and touch people everywhere. It is vast, it changed, it grew, it mutated, it transformed, it bubbled, and it's an ever-changing creative force that'll be here forever.
Mm-hmm. Remember, and they thought that it wouldn't last. They thought it was going to be a genre that would not last, and look, you took over everything. But me personally, I'm going to thank you all for coming in and having your questions ready, and thank you guys for having us. We hope to meet you all in person really soon.
Yes.
And Soup, I love you. We need to link up, and thank you guys. Everybody stay safe so we can meet each other soon. And
yeah, thank you both, and it would be great to have you see the exhibition while it's up. We're only an hour and a half north of you guys, so it's not like we're on another state or anything like that, but we'll be in touch. And thank you guys so much. This has been great. The series is going well.
How long is it up for? How long is it up?
We're going to probably extend it, but thanks to Khaled being so generous, and it's just so popular. So, y'all can get a private tour anytime you want. So
let me do this for y'all. I think I got the perfect quote, the perfect line to end this. As I said, a hottie ha! You thought hip hop wouldn't take it this far?
Okay.
Bless y'all. Drop the mic. Great program. Appreciate y'all.
Thank Marshall M.
Thank you all. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for
so
keeping on your creativity. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Joanna. Thanks, G. Thanks,
Thank
Kyle.
you both.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you.